a Sony CD player. So this belongs to one of my neighbour's friends, and what he said was the drawer wasn't opening and closing, and one of his other friends had a look at it and now it doesn't do anything, doesn't even switch on. So I'll just grab an extension lead, we shall plug it in and we'll see what it's doing. Well, I heard a little click inside, but we've got no display. Just try that again. Yeah, I heard a little click inside and that was it. Right, let's unplug it and we'll take it apart and we'll see if we can see what's wrong with it. So it looks like I need to remove 2 screws at that side, 2 screws at that side, and that's about it. Right, I'll just grab a Phillips screwdriver. So I wonder if there's some kind of internal fuse gone, or if it's got other problems. It might be a nice easy one, it might not be. We'll sharp find out. Right, let's see if this will let me enter it now. Right, and we're into it. Right, let's just zoom down a bit and see if we can see anything. Well, I can't see anything obvious up to now. I can't see any internal fuse or anything. I'll just zoom down a bit more. So if the power comes in there. Looks like we've got a possibly voltage regulator here. But I can't see anything obvious. Right, let's plug it in and we'll see if we've got voltages anywhere. I wonder if there's a schematic diagram for this, because I know some of the older audio stuff, there's schematics and whatever on the internet, so that might be useful. Actually, we've got some voltages there. I can just see something written on that track here. Minus 32 volts. There's a plus 5 volts. So that's a start. Let's just see. 5.9 volts. 5V2, so 5.2 volts. Right, I think what I'll do then, I'll plug it back in, we'll get the test meter out, and we'll see if we can measure some voltages. There's a 10 volt there as well. Right, I'm just going to plug it in. And I might have to zoom out a little bit to get the test meter in shot, and I might just be to manage there. We'll just go into volts DC. I'll just zoom out just a little fraction there. Right, let's find the ground. Let's try this screw here. Right, so we don't have any voltage there. Nothing there. Right, so I've got 12 volts to there. So I think what's this? I don't know if that says FS102. I wonder if that's one of those little tiny fuses shaped like a transistor. And I wonder if that's one as well. Because I do remember ages ago seeing little fuses like these. Right, I'm just going to switch it back off for a second. Now I don't know if these are two-legged or three-legged devices here. It's a little two-legged device there. So I bet these are little fuses. Let's just go into continuity. Let's just check this one. Yeah, so that one's okay. That one's okay. So we've got two fuses there, but both of those seem intact. Can't see any more of them. That's the only two I can see so far. That's just a normal transistor. Let's double check those again. Yeah, so those are okay. Wonder if it's worth getting the thermal camera out and we'll just have a quick look over just to see if there's anything getting hot or whatever. That might help narrow the problem down. I'll just zoom out a bit. Let's plug this in and switch it on. Well, I'll see we're getting a bit of heat there. Nothing excessive though. Again, those chips don't really look excessively hot. Well, I can't really see anything that's getting... Can't really see anything that's getting excessively hot so far. So it was worth a quick look. This is the Kawitz KTI-W02. And if you're interested, I'll leave a link in the video description along with a discount code for viewers if you want one. I'm just going to see what model this is, just to see if I can find a schematic or such online. Let's see if it's got a model number on the bottom or anything. Possibly on the back. Alright, so it's a CDP M79. Right, I'll see if I can find a circuit diagram or something for it. Right, I've managed to find a circuit diagram for it. And currently, we have nothing on the display there. But I have noticed if I hit eject, it is actually trying to eject. But we just don't have anything on the display. So, the display has got a 5 volts going to it on this ribbon cable and a 32 volt. So let's see if we get those voltages present. I'll just double check what pin numbers they are. Right, so it's the 12th pin down on this side. I don't think you'll be able to see it because it's underneath the cable here, so I'll just find a ground. Right, so we've got the 5 volts there. I'll just get the test meter down shot so you can see it. Right, so we've got 5 volts there, and then we've got reset pin, and then we should have 32 volts. And it doesn't appear that we have. So we're supposed to have a 32 volt on that pin, and we don't have anything. Right, I'll just see where the 32 volt comes from. And one moment please. And resume. Right, so the minus 32 volt comes from pin 2 of this little voltage regulator here. Let's see if I can... Oh, that's quite warm, that. Let's just see. We've got minus 5 coming out of it. Right, I'm just going to unplug that a sec. Let's just disconnect the front panel. Right, let's plug that back in a moment. Right, minus 32. And minus 5. So it looks like that little chip's working. But it looks like we may have a short on this front panel here. So if I just unplug that, I'll plug this front panel in again. And we'll just measure those voltages again. So I had minus 5 on this one, which I still have, and nothing on that pin. Right, just unplug it a second. Let's let the capacitors discharge a sec. And let's measure resistance between the middle pin here, which is the 32 volt, and ground. Let's just see. And we've got about 10 ohms. I'm not sure if that's normal or not, but it does seem quite low. So I think we need to have a look at this front panel. I'll get the meter out of the way. Let's see how this front panel comes off. I'll just disconnect the cable first. Let's just see if it's just got screws underneath perhaps. I can see one screw right in the middle there. And possibly just the front feet there. So let's try removing those. I'll just zoom out a fraction. So I think the front panel fault is totally unrelated to the CD mechanism. Could be wrong, but... Now do you want to come off? Oh, looks like we've got a little connector here that we need to undo for the audio jack at the front. Right, so let's have a look at this front panel then. Right, just get this bit out of the way for the moment. And we'll just zoom down a little bit. So let's try taking some of these screws out. Right, now do you want to come out? I'm not sure if I need to take this little headphone jack off first. It seems to be stuck on this metal plate here. Let's see if this metal plate comes off. Well, it doesn't look like there's much in here. I think it's just one big IC under the back. Unless some of those wires are getting pinched, but it doesn't look like it. The vacuum fluorescent display actually seems intact because we can see what's called a getter here. It's nice and black, so that looks good. And the only reason I know that is because I was doing a repair, or trying to do a repair on a VFD spectrum analyzer. and this getter here had started to go white, which indicated that the display had leaked and getting air into it. Well, I can see some diodes under here, but it looks like they're underneath the actual display. And that looks like it's going to be a bit of a pain to get off. Yeah, you can see some diodes there. I'm just going to have a look at the schematic again, because it may be the main chip that's failed. I don't know. I'll just see where the 32 volts goes when it gets to here. So I've just had a look at the schematic. I'll just bring it up on the screen so you can have a look for those playing along at home. And the minus 32 volts comes in here. If we follow it, it goes to here. It then goes across this jumper down to here. Now there is a capacitor between here and ground, and that could have possibly have gone short, but I'm not thinking it's likely. Then it comes down here and then goes into the main chip. It also branches off and it goes through a resistor here, but that measures K when I've measured from this side of it to ground, so it's not that. So I'm kind of suspecting this chip. I think the main display chip's gone. But we'll take the display off anyway and we'll have a look, just to rule it out. Alright, I'll just get the soldering iron and the solder sucker. And somebody recommended one of these little engineer solder suckers, so I thought I'd get one. And they're really good, to be quite honest with you. I'm really impressed with it, so thank you for that, whoever recommended it. So if you're interested in one, I've put some links in the video description. So if you fancy yourself one. Right, let's get on with taking this display off then. So I'm going to start over this way. Let's put some fresh solder on all of these first, just to make it easier. Right, I'll do this side now. Right, and I think those are the anchor points, which are here, here, here and here. So let's check all these pins are loose first. There's one there. Right, let's see if this wants to come out. Ah, missed two pins there. There's one pin caught. Right, that's the display out. Let's put that to one side. So, let's get the test meter in shot. Let's go on to ohms. There we go. I was thinking, could it be the heater in the display there for the moment, but I guess not. I've still got 9.4 ohms across there. Let's just check some of these diodes. Let's go on a diode check. So all the diodes seem okay. Let's take this capacitor out just to see if it's that. I doubt it is, but we'll give it a go. some fresh solder on it. I'll just find something to lift that up with. Right, let's see if that's shorted or not. Ooh. You never know, maybe that capacitor there. I was thinking it would be the chip. Let's just see if that short's gone then. Maybe to save this one after all. I wasn't holding out too much hope there for a moment. So I'll just zoom out a bit so you can get the test meter in shot. And if we go between the 32 volt and ground, the short is gone. Right, I'm going to see if I can find a capacitor to go in there then. Right, back with a replacement capacitor, so I'll remove this one first. And what I'm thinking about doing is actually soldering the one I've got on the back of the board, just in case it goes again. It'll be a lot easier to replace. Let's see if I can move that along a little bit. Actually could just go to there because it's the same place. Let's see if bending the legs a bit. Right, that's soldered on. Right, I'll get this display put back in now, which might be a bit more easier said than done, especially with the legs being a bit all over the place. Right, if I try and straighten some of these legs out a bit first. Well, that actually went even easier than expected. I thought I'd have a right job getting that back in there. Right, I'll just zoom out a fraction and I'll solder this back up. Excellent. Right, let's tidy it up a bit and let's see if it works. I think I'm just going to plug it in like this for now, just for testing. Right, where's the power plug? I still don't appear to have anything. Let's check I've got this plugged in right. Let's check if I've got that plugged in the plug socket correctly. Well, we still don't have anything on the display. In fact, the opening and closing isn't even working now. What? Right, let's just check if we've got voltages there again. Let's just see if we've got 5 volts there. No. Right. I'm just going to check this plug. just wonder if there's a loose wire or something in there. Let's just check. We've got mains going to it, I think. Let's just go into volts AC. And we should have mains on these two here. Yes, we've got mains. So why aren't you working then? This is kind of what it was doing originally, so I wonder if this has got like multiple faults on it. Let's just unplug that display again. Let's see if I've got 32 volts. No. We haven't got 5 volts or 32 volts. Right, I've just unplugged at the moment. Let's just go into continuity. Let's just check these. Right, well that one's gone open circuit. Where was the other one? Because I remember there was 2. That one's okay. That one's gone. I don't know if you can just see that one off camera there. I wonder if I've shorted something when I've put it back together. That one's definitely open circuit. Oh, now it's ever straightforward. Right, I'll see if I've got one of those. Or something I can use as a fuse now. Right, I think I found the problem. What I've done is, I've just replaced this fusible link here with just a 500 milliamp fuse. This one here is supposed to be 800 milliamp, but I've just used a 500 milliamp one just for safety for the moment. But I think what the problem is, this cable here, there's a little bit play on it, and you can have it slightly over to one side, and I think it shorts some of the pins out. So you've got to make sure it's right over to the right hand side here before it's inserted, and then all the pins are lined up perfectly. So let's plug it in. I haven't got all the screws in the display yet, just so we can try it. Right, let's see if it does anything now. Yes, it's lighting up. Well, that's one thing. We've got no disc. Well, that's one problem solved on it. So I'm going to put the rest of the screws in the display, and then I think we'll have a look at the mechanism and see what's going on with that. Right, let's unplug it for now. I'm going to unplug this display, and I'll put all the screws back in this. One moment please. Right, all the displays reassembled now. Got all the screws back in. So let's have a look at this mechanism. So I'll start by unplugging it. I think there's a screw at the back here. Right, I'll get this bit out of the way for now. Right, let's see how this comes apart then. Looks like you can take this top section off quite easily. It's just got a couple little clips either side here. I'll just squeeze in. Oh, did I speak too soon? That was, well, this just actually came straight off there. Right, let's have a look at this. So I think it might be this belt here. That's a bit of a strange mechanism, this one. I've never seen one like this before. Let's just zoom down a bit. Yeah, I've not seen a mechanism like this before. They've normally just got like one wheel that moves, not this sort of 3-wheel arrangement thing. That's a bit unusual, this one. Right, let's get this belt off. I'll try giving this a bit of a clean with some IPA, I think. Just get a bit of tissue here. It might be that it needs a new belt, I don't know. But we'll try putting some grease on these as well, just to help them rotate. I think I've got some somewhere, so I'll just go and see if I can find this grease. Right, I couldn't find the grease that I was looking for, but I found some silicone grease spray. So I sprayed a little bit in this cap here. I'm just going to use that to try and lube these up a little bit, just to give them a bit less friction. From which way they went now. Let's have a look at the inner side of this mechanism then. The cogs will probably drop off. So what I might do is actually take this whole pivot thing out, because it looks like you can undo that screw there, and hopefully this whole tray should now come out. Like so. And now I should be able to get to this bit. There we go. That feels a lot freer already. Jumped out. I thought that went in too easy. Right, now we get this back in. I'm just going to give the lens a quick clean with some isopropyl alcohol. I'll just get a cotton bud and let's put a bit of IP on here. Right, let's plug it back in and see if we can get the mechanism open and closing now. Put them cables back through this bit of tape, I think. So I'll put a screw in the back just to hold it for now. Why doesn't this side want to go in? Right, I'll have to do something with that fuse as well. Let's just see if the mechanism opens and closes okay now. I'll just zoom out the fraction. I was going to say, I've got nothing on the display again. I haven't got the ribbon cable plugged in. Let's make sure this is lined up properly this time. I think that's it. Well, that looks promising. Right, I shall go and find the CD next. Back in one moment. Back with the CD. Let's plug this in. Switch it on. Let's... That's a bit strange, and this just does that the first time it's switched on. No disc. Well, that's not good. This might need a new head as well. I don't know why it's bouncing open and closing there like that. Might be a dirty contact on the switch. Just trying to read. Oh, more problems in there. So I've cleaned the open and close switch on the draw mechanism. So when you eject it, it stops now. But when we close it, the belt's still actually slipping. You can hear the motor going there, and if you give it a little, let's do that again. If we just give it a little push there, you can see it's trying to read the disc. So what I've done, I've ordered a new optical pickup for it and a set of belts. So when those arrive, we'll fit them and hopefully we'll be able to repair it. So we'll continue this when the parts arrive. Right, it's been a couple of weeks and the new parts have arrived. I ordered a new optical pickup, which is in this box here. I've got some new belts, although the quality of them or the thickness of them doesn't seem to be the best, so I'm not sure how we'll get on with those, but we'll have a look. And I also ordered an 800 milliamp PCB fuse, which I'm going to replace that one there with. So I'm probably going to remove the circuit board first. I'm going to have to remove that transformer because that comes with it. And I think we're going to have to remove a couple of the screws on the back. Hopefully. So it's being held as something, but what? Ah, I can see it. Let's find a little flat screwdriver. There's a little plastic clip here. And is that it, or is there any more? No, that's it. Right. So that fuse is just here. I'm just going to add a bit fresh solder to that first. And that's it removed. Just clear those holes. And just grab a new one out of the packet. There we go. I'm just going to leave a little bit of length on those, I think. I'll just solder that in. I'll just snip off the excess legs. Right, first little job done. Start getting the screws back in then. Well, I don't know whether to take this deck out for now again. I'll just change the head because it's probably going to be easier. Just get this part out of the way for the moment. It's been a while since I looked at this. I'm trying to remember how it all went together. Yeah, that belt's a lot thicker. Yeah, so these are the ones I got off AliExpress. They're a lot thinner. Let's see if I can find one about the same size or slightly smaller maybe. Another 2 belts would work. Let's try one for now and see how we get on. Oh. I mean, that might do. What the next size up is going to be like. Let's try the next size up in case that's a bit tight. No, it's too slack, that one. I think that might be alright. I can't remember which way the cogs went now. So let's have a look at this optical pickup now then. I'll just zoom down a bit. And to get it out, I think I'm going to have to take this deck out of the plastic part. Which, if I remember, was just that one screw there. I'll sort those cogs out in a minute. Right, so I've just slid this pin out here. And we should be able to get the head out there now. I'll just unplug these 2 cables. Now I do remember when I worked on CD players years back, I've normally got some static or anti-static protection, and there's normally a little solder blob here that you've got to remove across, I think it's across the laser diode. So we'll have to remember to do that when we refit the new head. So let's have a look at the new head then, we'll get it out of the box. I'm just going to touch my Rework station. I did get people asking, did you have problems with static? But not overly. Yeah, we can see there's a blob of solder. I'll just try and zoom down a bit. Just across here. So you've normally got to unsolder, you've got to unsolder that bit of blob of solder there before this lens will operate. So we'll fit it first. Let's get the cables in first, I think. Right, I'll get that one out of the way. I wonder which way those went, whether those went through. There's a bit of a sort of crimp mark there, so I wonder if those. I wonder if those went like that. Kind of makes sense. Right, let's get these cogs back on now. Right, I think that's it. I'll just zoom out a fraction. I'm going to put some of these belts in that away and bring the other part of the unit over, so I'll just have a quick tidy up. Right, so I'm just going to get my soldering iron now and just remove that link. Now we've got the rest of that plugged in. Just wick it off with a bit of solder wick. Let's just zoom down just to double check. Yeah, that's fine. Right, I think we'll plug it in and then we'll see what it does. I'll just zoom out a fraction. Let's get an extension lead and we'll just plug it in. And it's lit up on the front there. Saying no disc, so we'll just check that it opens and closes now. That looks better. Right, hopefully it'll work with this disc now. Well, it tried, but we may have to do some adjustments. Right, it may require some more work. So I've done quite a bit of reading on how CD players work, because there's lots of things that I didn't actually know that I found out, so it was quite interesting. So let's talk about how the pickup works. What we've got at the top, we've got a lens, and we've got a laser that fires a beam out, and we've got a mirror that's here. So what happens is the beam goes up, goes through the lens, hits the disc, gets reflected back down, and this lens has got a coil, or possibly even two coils, so it can move the lens left to right and up and down for focusing. Then what happens is the beam comes down through this mirror, and what we've got an optical pickup which is actually made out of segments in this sort of arrangement. So we've got EF, A, B, C and D. So what happens is, how it focuses, if all of these segments A, B, C and D have the equal amount of intensity or laser light shone on them, that's how it knows it's in focus. If the focus is too high, then maybe A and D have got more brightness on them than B and C. And if the focus is too low, it could be that C and B have got the intensity higher than A and D. So that's how it knows how to adjust the focus up and down depending on which of these are illuminated higher. And then when you notice we've got two other segments, E and F, and what those are for, they're for tracking, so it knows if it's actually on the track properly. Because let's say if this segment is lit up, then it needs to move that way, and if this segment's lit up, it needs to move that way. So that's how it actually centres its tracking as well. So I mean, that's stuff that I didn't actually know, so I thought it was quite interesting. So the problem that we've got with this CD player, it seems, is it's focusing okay because it's getting focus lock and it's spinning the disc, but it's not being able to centre itself on the track. So it's just going all weird. So I think the problem's with the tracking system. So I've done a few tests and I'll show you what I've discovered. So I'll just get the CD player back on the bench and we'll continue. So I even tried replacing the optical pickup with the other one that came as well, just in case it was a problem with the pickup. And I've tried all the adjustments. I've had the scope connected to it just to look at some waveforms and that, and all the adjustments seem pretty much okay, apart from it's not reading discs. And I did manage to find this schematic for it, and it did have some voltages and things dotted around. So I'll show you what I've discovered. So this chip here amplifies the signals coming from the head and from those optical sensors that I was just talking about. That's why we've got some numbers down there. You might be able to see them, or letters rather. If I just zoom down a bit, you might be able to see there A, B, C, D, and there's E and F. and those come in on these 4 pins down here, the E and F signals. I'll see if I can get the meter in shot as well a bit. Let's go into volts DC. Now it says under no signal conditions, which means the CD isn't actually playing or anything, we should have 0 volts pretty much on these 4 pins here. So we'll go on that one, I'll go on that one, that one, and that one. Yeah. And all of those signals come out to the 5th pin up on this side. So if we just go on to that ground again, and we'll just go on to the 5th pin up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see there we've hardly got any voltage. Now that pin then goes through this variable resistor here, and that comes down to the 3rd pin down on this chip here. So we'll just go to ground, and we'll just go on the 3rd pin down, and I've got 4.9 volts, and we should have 0 volts on that because that's the tracking error input. So why have we got 5 volts there? There shouldn't be any 5 volts getting to there, because one end of this potentiometer is going to ground, and one of them, the other side, is the input from this chip here. And I think there's a resistor in between it, but that's about it. So why have we got 5 volts there? So I'm suspecting that this chip has failed internally, like maybe one of the diodes in the op amp or something, and it's chucking 5 volts out on that pin there, which shouldn't have any voltage on it. So what I've done, I've ordered one of these ICs. So I think we're going to take the board out, we'll replace that IC, and then we'll see what goes on after that. Right, I'll just zoom out a bit. And I'll just take this board out, I'll just switch this off. I've already undone all the screws and everything, so it's a bit easier. There's a little plastic peg here. Right, so that's the board out. So the chip we want to remove is this one here, so I'll just get it in shot a bit better and we'll zoom down on it. Right, I shall go and apply some leaded solder, I think, to these pins first, and then we'll use the little solder sucker to remove the solder. Right, that's one side done. Let's do this side. Right, I think that's it. Right, let's see if it wants to come out. Looks like it's just about fell out. Right, so there's the chip removed. And it's a CXA 1082BS. I'll zoom out a fraction. So this is a replacement chip that I've ordered from AliExpress. That's the only place we could actually find them, so hopefully it's an original one and not a fake or whatever. Well, it's pretty much the only place I could actually find one. Let's try to straighten the legs up a little bit. Just thought I probably should just unplug this just in case, just as probably be live still going to those contacts there. It's not the best idea. I'll just do each corner first. I think I might just run some flux down here just to make it a little bit easier. I'll probably get away without running flux down it, but the solder's got flux in it anyway. Right, so I'm just going to zoom down a fraction more just so I can see a bit better. I'm not using the microscope, so that's one side done. Looks like there's a couple of bridges at the end there, but we'll tackle that in a minute. Just wick a little bit off this last bit. Right, I'm just going to give that a bit of a clean up. I'm just going to use some IPA and a toothbrush. And I think that looks okay. A little bit fluff there. Yeah, I think that looks alright. Right, let's flip the board over and we'll give it a test, see what it does now. I'm just going to zoom back out a fraction. Right, just get the meter back in shot. I'm going to switch it on and then we'll measure, we'll see what voltage we get on that third pin down. Right, we're not getting any power at all at the moment. I think it might be because this ribbon cable mightn't be quite in the right place.
A few moments later.
Right, so I've just checked this fuse here, the one that I replaced earlier, and it's gone open circuit. So what's happened is when I've had it plugged in and hadn't switched it and forgot to switch it off at the mains, there's been some power still on the power supply. When I've used my soldering iron to remove this chip, it shorted it out. So you see, I make mistakes as well. So hopefully replacing that fuse might spring it back to life, or I might have caused further damage, I don't know. But yeah, they say sometimes it's just easy to overlook things and you know, you just forget. Alright, let's take this fuse back out and I'll grab a new one. And hopefully we haven't caused any further damage. Right, I'll switch this back on the mains. Whoa. And it just started going of its own accord there. So that's not a good sign. Right. So we've definitely got other issues. I mean, it could be this chip's not right. It could be that I've caused some other damage now. So I'm not 100% yet. Let's see if I can get this board back out. I mean, we did have another fuse down there. I'll just see what that one measures. I'll just get the test meter in shot. I don't seem to be getting any reading on that one. So that one is just here. And that one's open circuit as well. Right, I shall go grab another fuse then and we'll just try soldering one across the bottom. Just cut them legs a bit shorter. Something like that. I'm just double checking that it's switched off at this time. Right, that's better. Oh, right, let's see what it does now then. But I'm less confident now after that, because we could have caused damage to, or I could have caused damage to pretty much anything. Hopefully it's just blown the fuses and hasn't damaged anything else, but we'll see. Right, so let's see what it does now when we switch it on. I'll just tell you what, let's move this back that way a bit. Right, let's see what it does now when I switch it on in 3, 2, 1. Oh. Ah, that's because I haven't got the mechanism in. So if I do that and then do that, that should be it set up there. Right, it says no disc. Let's get this pressure. Actually, tell you what, we'll check that voltage on that third pin. So let's go on to here, and I'll use the same ground as I was using before. And 1, 2, 3. Oh, we've got 0 volts there now. We no longer have the 5 volts that we had before. Right, let's put this disc on. I'll just zoom out a fraction more. I'll just hit eject and close it again. That looks a bit better. Yes! Whew. It's read the table of contents there and it says the disc's got 18 tracks. I'll just hit play. And it's playing, yes! Oh, what a nightmare this one's been. So I think I'll put the mechanism back together and then we'll check that we've actually got audio on that out of it, because the disc's spinning, it appears to be playing, but we still might have no audio yet. So I don't know. So I'll just put the tray back in, and then the next time you see it, it's hopefully back together and we've got to connect it to some speakers or something. Right, back in a moment. Right, I've had it playing for a while now, and I've cobbled together a little audio lead here that just goes to a couple of computer speakers because I haven't got an amplifier on my bench. And here's the old parts that I've changed. Like I say, I'm not sure if the head was actually faulty or not, but it'll be well on its way in any case, because I mean this thing must be, I don't know, 15-year-old, 20-year-old maybe, I don't know. But the main cause of it seems to be that IC there, and also the blown capacitor that was at the front of the display. So, without further ado, let's get it playing something. So, obviously I can't let it play too long for copyright for YouTube. There's one of the tracks playing there. I'll just fast forward it or something else. We'll go to number 3, let's see. Let's just fast forward it a bit more. So yeah, it seems to be playing alright. It doesn't seem to be skipping or anything. Let's just try 30. Right, we'll try another CD. Let's eject that one. Let's pop another one in here. I'll hit play.
Oh shit!
I'll try fast forwarding it a bit. So yeah, all seems to be working now. So a successful fix on this one. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to pull this one off, but we managed to sort it. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, please leave it in the comment section below. And as always, have a great day. Thanks for watching.